Hello everyone and welcome to the Kukerly Bushcraft channel. Okay, so the plant I have behind me and all around me is Rosebay Willowherb, as I would call it. Fireweed, you might call it, as if you're in the United States. And yeah, it's a common plant all around the Northern Hemisphere in the colder countries. And it has many uses. For example, the young shoots, when they come out of the ground, you can fry them up like asparagus, fried in butter. It's really nice. Yeah, butter's good stuff. You can make it into tea. I've got a video on that. There's uses for the flowers. You can make a syrup out of them. Right at the moment, it's got these lovely fluffy seed heads. They make a really good flash tinder. It is really good in a tinder bundle, so it extends the ember. Oh, there we go. There we go. That's just a little bit too moist. Okay, so let's transfer this little lot over to the fireplace and I'll be back with you. Uni, stop eating stuff. Okay, so I've got some green stems here. This works much better as if the stems are dead and dry. So winter time is the best time to do this, unless you've got something that you've been drying inside, which I have. I've got some bags over there. So you can separate this a little bit with your thumb, or you can use a knife, which is sometimes easier as if it's green. And with better growing conditions, this stuff can grow really quite big, about 6 foot 2 meters. This is growing around our septic tank. So it likes human activity. It does grow here in the forest sometimes along streams and stuff, but it likes places where there's been fires, hence the name fireweed. So it likes disturbed ground with lots of nutrients in it. And yeah, so I've split that chunk, so now I'm going to break it open. And what we want is the stuff from the outside, which is a lot easier to remove as if it's dry. So just the skin, So we can use it as cordage just as it is for a quick, temporary, weak lashing. Yeah, I mean, that's actually coming off quite nicely. That is actually doing quite well. So as if you want to make good cordage, you're going to want to dry this stuff. So if you keep that in your pocket for a little while, it'll dry quite quickly. But before you work it, you'll want to rehydrate it. So vegetable fibres, and this applies to most vegetable fibres, and it's very important in basket making and making cordage. When they dry, they shrink. When you rehydrate them, they expand, but they shrink a lot more the first time they dry. So as if you dry them and then rehydrate them, it is worth it. Now I've got something that's been drying inside, and it splits with your thumb much easier. Just all the way along. Okay, it's a little bit damaged in the middle. Oi, it's broken in the middle. You see that? That should come away. All of the dry, dead, flaky stuff. Breaks away a lot easier. You'll struggle a little bit where there's nodes, where the leaf stalks come from. So to make this into string, let's remove that bit. So I'm going to get me length of fibre about 1/3 of the way down, and I'm going to start to twist. Twist, twist, twist until you get that kind of a kink in there. Can you see that? It kind of loops over. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to twist it with my first finger and thumb. I'm going to twist it away from myself. Then I'm going to grab this part like this with my first and second finger, and I'm going to pull that towards myself. Okay, slight interruption there, so I stopped filming, but the way it works is if you get your first finger and thumb and twist away from yourself, and then with your first finger and second finger you grab the other strand and go towards. So you're twisting one strand away and then the two strands towards yourself. So this is a very basic bushcraft technique. It's reverse wrapped twin ply cordage. With a bit of practice you can actually get quite fast and efficient at this, and you'll get something that looks like that. So that's a very thin piece of string but relatively strong. The reason we started 1/3 of the way up is when you add more pieces of fibre, it staggers the weak points, so you've not got all the weak parts in one point. So when I add another piece, and this is the way that I do it, but I'll add like that, and I'll fold over and fold the other one in the opposite direction. Most people, I think, just add the fibres, but I like to fold them over each other. You'll get little hairy bits coming out, but you can cut those off later. And I'm just going to weave that in to the fibre and carry on as before. So with my method, it does mean you're going to get a thicker chunk, which I'm getting anyway because the bit I'm adding is a little bit thicker, but it also means you get a little hair coming off, which can be trimmed up later. So there are so many different materials you can use in the nature for making cordage. Yeah, I mean willow bark's a good one round here. Yeah, birch bark. There's all kinds of things. Nettles are great. We don't really get very many nettles this far north. Yeah, but the Rosebay Willowherb or fireweed, it's a very, very good, very versatile plant, and yeah, and it grows everywhere in large numbers. As if you get it, you find big clumps of it. It doesn't grow in warmer countries or in the southern hemisphere, but very, very multi-purpose. And there's actually a young lass on Instagram who makes some very good cordage videos, and lovely little baskets, foraged fibres she calls herself. I'd recommend checking her out. She does some really nice stuff, and she uses some really interesting materials. You know, she uses like random things from the supermarket as well as things from the nature. Anyway, aha, we've got Siberian jay knocking around. Kukali in Finnish. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Please give us a thumbs up, drop us a comment, and I'll see you all again soon for another Kukuli Bushcraft video. Bye for now. Cheers.